Hello everyone, hope everyone is fine. In this video, we are going to learn about a process called weathering. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks, soils and minerals through contact with the earth's atmosphere, water and biological organisms. That is, weathering is the decay and disintegration of rocks. Mainly, there are three types of weathering: physical weathering, chemical weathering and biological weathering. Physical weathering means there is no change in the properties of a parent rock and a product rock. While in the case of chemical weathering, chemical reactions takes place. So the product rock's properties is different from the parent. And biological weathering is a type of weathering done by living organisms, either plants or animals. Physical weathering. This type of weathering occurs due to three main processes. They are freeze and thaw, or high temperature, or unloading. You can see in the first picture a minute crack exists on a rock surface and where water is collected. When the temperature of that particular area goes below 0 degrees centigrade, the water gets converted into ice. Naturally, ice volume is higher than water. So, when ice are formed, it pushes the rocks, causes an extension of the cracks. So, further minute cracks are formed. And during daytime, when the temperature is high, the ice melts. So, the water, it can penetrate easily into the minute cracks. And when the temperature is low during night times, again water gets converted into ice. So again the volume of the ice is high, so further minute cracks are formed. So this results in the extension of the cracks that is present in a rock, and you can see in the fourth stage, finally the rocks may break or disintegrate. So this process is called freeze-thaw process. And the second one is due to very high temperature which occur in desert areas. So it leads to the peeling off of top layer of rocks. You may see the peeling of oranges, isn't it? In the same way, the top layers of the rocks may get peeled off due to very high temperature. You can see in the figure 2, it shows the peeled off portions of a rock. And these are some of the terms which we use in weathering, that is talus slope. Talus slope means in the hilly regions, maybe due to weathering, product rocks are formed, and when these product rocks roll down due to gravity, and when it reaches the bottom surface, while some of them may get stabilized along the slope itself. So those that reaches the bottom are called as scree deposits, and the slope along with the product rock is called talus slope. And the next type of weathering is chemical weathering. These are some of the 5 major reactions that would occur in a chemical weathering: carbonation, hydrolysis, hydration, oxidation and solution. Carbonation is the formation of carbonic acid, which is very reactive in nature, and it reacts with rock mineral silicate bearing rocks. The silicates of potassium, sodium and calcium are vulnerable to decay under conditions of carbonation. Here I have given an example, that is limestone reacts with carbonic acid to form calcium bicarbonate. Next one is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is an ion exchange reaction. For example, you can see orthoclase, when it reacts with water, it released K plus ions and it is replaced by H plus ion. Hydration is accumulation of water molecule to form a hydrate. Here hematite reacts with water to form yellow limonite. And oxidation is addition of oxygen reaction. So here ferrous oxide reacts with oxygen to form ferric oxide. Similarly, magnetite reacts with oxygen to form hematite. And reduction, this is just opposite of oxidation, where an oxygen molecule is released. For example, hematite, when it reacts with oxygen, it gives ferrous oxide. Next one is solution. Solution is just dissolving the water soluble mineral that is present in the rock. They get dissolved when it reacts with water. And next type of weathering is spheroidal weathering. Here both physical weathering and chemical weathering takes place. That is, due to physical weathering, the rocks may get divided into blocks, and sometimes chemical weathering may occur along the borders, making it into a blunt one, thus forming spheroids. So this type of weathering is called spheroidal weathering. And sometimes the products of the chemical weathering may not be a stable one, and it leads to the formation of colloids. Last one is biological weathering. Biological weathering is weathering done by plants or other organisms. Hydrogen ions are released at the roots of plants during their growth. These ions are capable of replacing K plus, Ca and Mg ions from the minerals and rocks surrounding the root system and make them available for use in plant growth. Thus, it causes disintegration of rocks. And these are some of the factors which affect weathering. First one is climate. The process of weathering is related to the climatic conditions prevailing in that area. Some types of rocks are exposed in 3 or more types of climates may show different types of weathering. Next one is particle size. The rate of chemical weathering is affected by the size of rock particles. If the rock particles are smaller, it is exposed to more weathering agents. Thus, the weathering is faster. And the next one is exposure. The extent of exposure to which the rock comes into contact with the agents of weather is an important factor that affect weathering. Some rocks are so protected with the slowly compared to rocks whose surfaces are wholly exposed to weather. Slope of the region is also a factor that affects weathering. Next one is mineral composition. The chemical properties of a rock depend on the mineral composition to a great extent, that we all know, isn't it? Mineral in a rock may readily react with acids, water or oxygen, causing considerable weathering. So if the mineral of a rock is inactive in condition, then that particular rock won't react easily. And the time of exposure. The process of weathering is a time-taking process, as we know. So, the duration of time for which a rock is exposed to weather determines the extent of weathering. Here comes the products of weathering. The products of weathering we usually divide into three. Alluvium. Alluvium are the products that are present near the parent rock itself. And diluvium are the products which are carried away from the parent rock due to weathering agents. And regolith, this is the term which is used to mention both alluvium and diluvium. Let us see about the soil profile. When you see the soil profile, it is divided into A layer, B layer, C layer and D layer. The A layer is made up of entirely completely weathered soil that may be supporting a vegetable cover. This zone may or may not contain humus. Zone B, it is a zone of mixed composition, partly of soil and partly of weathered rock. And zone C, this is practically soil free zone and has enough evidence that rocks at this level are already under attack by weathering. And last one is zone D, or the bedrock. It is the zone of the so far intact rock, the parent rock, the overlying part of which has already been attacked by weathering process. This zone starts from the base of zone C and extends downwards indefinitely. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Thank you.